Thank you to Preserve Gold for being a sponsor of our NEWSMAX podcast. Thinking about investing in physical gold or silver but not sure who you should trust? The folks at Preserve Gold are the perfect partner and highly rated for all your precious metal needs. Text the word DAILY to 50505 and get up to $10,000 in free gold and silver, and to learn more today from Preserve Gold.
Hello and welcome to the NEWSMAX Daily podcast. It is Wednesday, May 15th. My name is Kay Smythe and I am your fill-in host this week while Tony Marino is out on vacation. And I've decided to run on a bit of a theme for today's episode. I love a good theme, don't you? And so today's theme is how weird Biden's policies are since that he's sort of been in the Oval Office. And by weird, I mean absolutely catastrophic for the entire nation. So we're going to start with a longer clip today from Carl Higbie's Frontline, which is on every night between 5 and 6 p.m. only on NEWSMAX. And Carl's going to kick us off on our theme episode. And we're going to talk about Biden's butchered American dream.
There is definitely proof that Democrat policies don't work, but they seem to be confused by the recent pollings just seemingly showing that. Now, as a result, they have to pull out all the desperate stops to try to save face. They should have taken note with this huge geopolitical shift that happened during COVID. It was all the people were going towards Florida, Tennessee, a variety of other red states. And the mass exodus were happening from deep blue states, New York, Illinois, California. And unfortunately, all of the people who fled those bad policy states, by the way, that destroyed those states, they brought all those bad policies with them. But that's another story. One state, though, has flown under the radar and recently was rated as the top state in America to live in for a second year in a row. But its governor recently came out and explained why, saying, "One of the things that makes Utah special is that we lead the nation in upward mobility and social capital, connectedness, and that we lead the nation every year in service and charitable giving, and that we don't rely on government to solve all of our problems." Weird. Community, good neighbors, and imagine that. Less government regulation makes people prosper. My man Ronald Reagan called this like over 3 decades ago.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Yep. The notion today for what is like half the country, unfortunately, they're looking to the government to solve all of their problems. For some reason, they believe this. The thing is, the government solves nothing well. I mean, you've been to the DMV, yet the government promises everything. And these people just keep believing that. I guess that's why they continue to vote Democrat. And what I'm about to prove all this to you, that big government tax and spend policies, never the solution.
What we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
How are you going to solve homelessness? What are you going to do as a new mayor? And I say, well, what are you going to do?
Focus on a housing first model, direct access to housing.
Shelter solve sleep, housing with wraparound and support services, solve homelessness. Homelessness absolutely can be solved.
Laid out a detailed homeless strategy. There's been no intentionality on homelessness in this state for decades. It's not been a focus.
I don't think we can solve homelessness. I know we can solve homelessness. We will reduce street homelessness quickly and humanely through emergency action. We are poised to pass a budget in the next few hours that will provide $12 billion of investment. I can literally quantify 58,000 people that we got off the streets last year, and none of you would believe it.
The state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness.
Why?
We're not interested in funding failure. We're not interested in failing more efficiently when it comes to the issue of homelessness.
Gavin Newsom, one of the most prominent far-left Democrats with like universal control over the entire state. There's like no Republican power there. For the last, 20 years at least, has promised to end homelessness, allocating billions of taxpayer dollars, at times claiming success, only to say the following year that actually it was a failure, we need more of your money. And what happened, aside from his hairline changing over those 20 years? Homelessness got worse. This is the same party that tells you that if you pay more in taxes, they can somehow change the climate. Right, sure. And the answer to their government failure is always more cowbell. The same thing with this newer generation advocating for socialism. It's never succeeded anywhere in the world. It's killed millions of people. And yet the answer to this young, overeducated generation is that, we just didn't do it enough. But even more so than that, I think the left governs on an even more rudimentary principle, reflexively, the opposite of whatever Republicans want now. I'm so done sacrificing my values to get along in the spirit of good governance with a party that will literally oppose anything just because I support it. The one thing the libs got right is that you dig in your heels and you make no compromises. Taking a page out of your guys' books, guys, gals, whatever imaginary genders you come up with a day, this is what the left doesn't understand. They never comprehend that other ideas might be good or that their policies might be the problem here.
See, now this is why I love Carl. He is a solutions-oriented person. He isn't just one of those gormless talking heads who goes on television because mommy and daddy didn't love him, so he needs attention and admiration from the people to feel special, which is 90% of people in this industry. And most of them work at Fox. I'm just kidding. Kind of. But no, if Carl was like that, he wouldn't be on Newsmax, I realized, because I was, going through all of the clips this morning, and it really hit me. The difference between Newsmax and basically every other sort of television news media organization is how solutions and education oriented every single show really is. So that's why we have all of the best anchors and, everywhere else doesn't. So anyway, that's why Carl is here at Newsmax, fighting for the future of America. It's the reason I'm here too, but we are not alone. Up next, we want to listen to Eric Bolling and The Balance, where he gives his 2 cents on Biden's butchered American dream. And yeah, you know what? Let's go, Eric. You got this. Take it away.
Joe Biden claims to live and breathe for the American minority, but let's be real, he couldn't care less. He's done nothing for minorities as president other than spit in their faces by letting millions of illegal invaders into the country. He's spoon-fed these illegal aliens, giving them money and resources. But what about the tax-paying 9-to-5 working American minority? They get nothing compared to the trespassers. The only thing that should help American minorities sleep at night is knowing that they're not alone. Joe Biden doesn't just hate you, he pretty much hates all of us.
You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but you're
why would you answer that
because
question?
The question is, the question is,
Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen.
Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President? Why attack Sanders? Wait.
Take your AR-14s away.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on. All right. Hey, let's There's a lot of guys.
Dog-faced pony soldier, still working on that one. Those are all white people getting backhanded by the sitting president and his arrogance. Joe Biden thinks he's better than you, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, or Asian, or other. His extensive history of being racist never aligned with so many of his clearly fabricated campaign promises. But somehow Americans took the bait, and this man snuck into the Oval Office. People of all colors and races have gotten exactly what they voted for. Although the minorities that Joe Biden claimed to love so much have certainly felt the brunt of Biden's empty promises. Fortunately for us, Biden's presidential competition doesn't care what color you are. Donald Trump just wants the flag to be respected and the Constitution to be upheld and to treat this nation with the respect that you expect to receive back. Americans of all races were better off under Trump, and we sure as hell will be better off when he retakes the office in November. Thankfully for us, the flag-waving Trump supporter, Joe Biden's idea of campaigning is lashing out at the people he claims to represent, and of course attacking his opposition. The president cannot hide this time around. We know exactly what we have and exactly what's in store if this political zombie were to somehow win another term. But let's not put that out into the atmosphere, shall we? Biden ferociously insults those who voted for him. He attacks minorities, yet embraces illegal criminals with open arms. He hates the entire Republican Party, from me and you all the way up to the top. He reportedly and very believably treats his staff like garbage, even his aides, who probably dress him and definitely help him walk, talk, and eat. While he tries to formulate simple sentences, this man dislikes us all. He dislikes, I would say he even hates America. And basically everyone who lives here. Legally, that is. But go ahead, Joe. Keep insulting the voters that you desperately need. This is why your approval rating is historically low. This is why the majority of this nation openly dislike you right back. Not only as a leader, but as a nasty, impatient, old, crotchety man.
Yeah, Biden, you crotchety old man. You know, I moved to America as a liberal Democrat. Seriously, everyone laughs when I say that, but it's true. I also moved here as a university-educated expert in my field, which is technically social and geographical sciences. I know I don't sound like I'm that professional and clever, but I am, literally on paper, which is kind of fun, never in real life. But one of the ways that I've sort of watched Americans, liberal Americans, get dumber and dumber by the day, like glue-eating dumb, is through the manipulation of their social capital, and specifically through sort of linguistic means. So in my dissertation, I tracked how easy it was to sway social rhetoric, or to, sway social action through manipulation of social rhetoric. So sort of, instilling these big ideas into people that they don't really understand, but somehow have the confidence to speak on. Like how when you listen to liberals talk about climate change and you realize they probably can't even spell half the words that they use in. And it's really easy to. It's really easy to manipulate people through these simple linguistic tricks. And wouldn't you know, Chris Salcedo talked a little bit about this on his show last night.
The perversion of language is only eclipsed by the left's sexual perversion. They have said loving your country and God is bad, calling it Christian nationalism. They call the actions of protesting government an insurrection, excusing their own side when they do the very same thing. They've also called riots insurrection, excusing their own side when they do the very same thing. And they are doing the same thing to the word populism. Perversion, the only thing the left wing is good for. That's my focus in today's preamble. The press has been ignoring a recent visit to Oxford by Nancy Pelosi. While there, Pelosi and the UK elite tried to convince those in attendance that the majority of people opposing the elitists, are evil. The left, in and out of the press, have demonized populism after the people rejected the elite's hoarding of wealth, draconian crackdowns, and left-wing authoritarianism. A British musician got the privilege of calling out Nancy Pelosi to her face, a privilege that we conservatives never get because Democrats and their GOP ilk have lost the ability to debate and can't allow us to ask the questions that they don't want to answer, questions from a freedom, liberty, and constitutional conservative standpoint. Here's how this British musician started things off.
Populism has become a word used synonymously with racist, we've heard ethno-nationalist, with bigot, with hillbilly, redneck, with deplorables. Elites use it to show their contempt for ordinary people. This is a recent change. Not long ago, Barack Obama, while still president at the North America's Leaders Summit in June 2016, he took umbrage with the notion that Trump be called a populist. How could Trump be called a populist? He doesn't care about working people. If anything, Obama argued he was the populist.
First, Obama, as he often is, was wrong. He didn't know the difference between popular and populist. He soon found out the difference, though. As Americans got a snoot full of his anti-American policies, soon the populists began to erode Obama's popularity, as it was clear that Obama was an anti-American apparatchik dedicated to the fall of Western civilization. And that's when Obama's soaring rhetoric changed.
Something curious happens. If you watch Obama's speeches after that point, more and more recently, he uses the word populist interchangeably with strongman, with authoritarian. The word changes meaning. It becomes a negative, a pejorative, a slur.
And the left wing in America and the biased press follow suit. They actually depict populism, which by definition is the consensus of the overwhelming majority. The leftists who bastardize language now say that populism is the same as dictator, the same as despot or totalitarian, and they do this to demoralize and demonize the masses who have turned against their elitist rule.
If the motion was that demagoguery was a threat to democracy, I would be on that side of the House. If the motion was that political violence was a threat to democracy, I'd be on that side of the House. January 6th has been mentioned. A dark day for America indeed. And I'm sure Congresswoman Pelosi will agree that the entire month of June 2020, when the federal courthouse in Portland, Oregon was under siege and under insurrection by radical progressives, those too were dark days for America. And if we were arguing that fascism was a threat to democracy, I'd be on that side of the House. Indeed, the current populist age is a movement against fascism.
Well, indeed, he's right. The multinational corporations, they collude with big government apparatchiks in an effort to enslave entire populations to fill the pockets of those least deserving. Fascism, by any other name. And the left-wingers in government and in the press see their cushy meal tickets melting away under the populist pressure from an oppressed population that no longer wishes to work for the benefit of elites, who now in turn show they are willing to sacrifice our lives to keep themselves awash in luxury and comfort. The massive illegal alien crises are proof of the collective Democrat-Republican agenda, as the Democrats have set the nation ablaze. The GOP complains a lot, never doing anything that has stopped one, not even one illegal alien from busting into our country over the last 3.5 years. That's just one example of how the world's elites are making their move. And more people, more and more of our people, are seeing these elitists for what they are.
The real threat to democracy is from the elites. Now, don't get me wrong, we need elites. If President Biden has shown us anything, we need someone to run the countries. When the president has severe dementia, it's not just America that crumbles, the whole world burns. But let's examine the elites. European corporations spend over 1 billion euros a year lobbying Brussels. US corporations spend over $2 billion a year lobbying in DC. 2/3 of Congress receive funding from pharmaceutical companies. Pfizer alone spent $11 million in 2021. They made over $10 billion in profit. No wonder then that 66% of Americans think the economy is rigged against them for the rich and the powerful.
So if you want to hear more amazingly educational content that will help you make decisions about your future, just tune into NEWSMAX, guys. Like, it's literally that simple. And I hope you enjoy it. Today is Wednesday, May 15th. My name is Kay Smythe. Again, I'm filling in for Tony Marino this week. And I'll see you brilliant people tomorrow for more on the NEWSMAX Daily podcast. God bless.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the NEWSMAX app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
It's our America. We conquered it. We built it. Great values like honesty and fairness. Great courage. A great nation needs a free press. NEWSMAX is it. 30 million Americans regularly go to NEWSMAX when they really need to know. They watch NEWSMAX TV at home. On the free NEWSMAX app, they go to newsmax.com. Start today. NEWSMAX is real news for real people.